Hello guys, welcome to MTG Explained. And it wasn't too long ago we released a video discussing the bans that happened right after Zendikar Rising was released. When they banned Uro. And that was, happened very quickly after rotation. They didn't give it very much long. It was like only a week or so after the set dropped on Arena. And here we are, not maybe about 2 weeks after that or so. And we're at it again. We have some more bans announcements by Wizards. So here we have an article again by Ian Duke, and here he discusses the recent bans that were announced today on October 12th, what cards they chose and why they chose them. So here they obviously banned Omnath, Locus of Creation. They were already kind of talking about this card in the prior banning, but instead they decided to ban Uro instead of banning him, because I'm assuming because he was a new card, so they want to give it a little bit more time to be played in the format before they banned it. But it was already pretty obvious that this card was doing some work in Standard, and even without Uro, it was still going to be a very, very hard card to deal with. So looks like in Standard they're banning Omnath. They're also banning Lucky Clover. Lucky Clover is another card that is used in the adventure type decks. Now the adventure decks have 4-color adventures has been popping up recently, and it has been very dominating. They also use Lucky Clovers, and some of these decks use Omnath. These some of the adventure 4-color adventure decks. So they banned Lucky Clover, and then they also banned Escape to the Wilds. So here are 3 cards that all play together very similar in similar decks. Omnath obviously played in the new 4-color Adventures deck, and it's played in the ramp type strategies. We got Lucky Clover that played in Adventure decks. And again, Venture was a popular deck before rotation hit. So now they decided to go ahead and ban it. But because without Lucky Clover, that's a key part in that deck. Escape to the Wilds was also a card that was played in Adventures. So they essentially try and destroy that deck, and also they're also trying to stop any these type of ramp decks. So with Omnath, so it wasn't just good enough for them to ban Omnath. They went ahead and banned the Lucky Clover and Escape to the Wilds. So interesting. It's an interesting choice for them. I would have thought they were just gonna ban Omnath and hope that would deal with it, but instead, no, they went ahead and went all in to destroy these types of decks. In Historic, they also banned Omnath. They banned Teferi. He was on the suspended list, I believe, so they went ahead and banned him. Same with Wilderness Reclamation. And the unsuspended Burning Tree Emissary. So at least we got that coming off the suspension list for Historic. And for Brawl, again, Omnath was banned. So essentially, this card is pretty much banned in almost all formats you can play it in Arena anyways. So they printed this card. You can play him for a couple weeks. Then they just completely ban him in almost all formats or suspend him. So there's that. I know I discussed this like last time in my video. It just seems like Wizards is banning cards every other week or so. They just continue to put up bans and create these powerful cards like Omnath, and just hope that they'll do good for a little bit, and then if they not, then they ban them instead of doing proper testing with these cards to see if they're too powerful. You could take one look and just read this guy's text, and then what he can do is you'll see that this card is probably going to be broken, especially in a format that can ramp and a format that has other landfall triggers. This guy just becomes really ridiculous. But instead of actually play testing it, they decided to let him run for a little bit and then just ban him. So again, more bans by Wizards. They basically justify saying this card was dominating the formats, things like that. Right, the tournament results were heavily played with this card. A lot of tournaments were running with him. Everyone was running him. Even after Uro, the deck was still good. The decks were still good. I don't there's argument to what they should just ban him straight up in the beginning and maybe left Uro still unbanned. But Uro was also getting problematic even prior to rotation. So I guess they wanted to get rid of him. But I mean, you could easily determine that this guy was probably the big problem with those decks. But nope, they let him out. They kept him for another week or so, and decided to ban him this week. They kept him for about like two weeks or so, and banned him. So I don't know. It's kind of frustrating that they continue to ban cards every so often. This, like I said, this used to never happen before. They used to not ban so many cards, especially in standard. But now this seems to be commonplace, and I guess it's just the new magic we're gonna have to get used to. It's just bans after bans. If decks start winning, it's gonna ban them, right? They're not gonna try to even out the playing field when they're playing cards. They're gonna try to basically do it after the fact. I mean, look at this. Euro is banned. Lucky Clover is banned, right? So Lucky Clover, that's another card. Adventures. I mean, I like playing Adventures prior to the Almanac Locus of Creation Adventures. I like playing Adventures. It was a good, fun deck to play. They talk about this being a powerful engine, for the deck, and they say, oh, with Edgewall, Innkeeper, they're still going to see some adventure decks. I honestly do not know. I mean, Lucky Clover was like the key of that deck. Edgewall just kind of nice to have. I don't know if he's going to be enough to keep that deck going, especially to have it top tier competitive. I don't know if it's probably just going to fall out. Because they also got rid of Escape to the Wilds, which was another key of that deck. And to me, it seems kind of strange that they took off so many keys to a specific deck to basically destroy. Normally, Wizards, what they do is they remove one key card, or they try to find one key card that ties that deck together and get rid of that. So the deck is still somewhat playable, but not completely overwhelming. Here, they just take out almost all the pieces. Escape to the Wilds, Lucky Clover, now Almanac Locus of Creation. All these are cards that all work very well together. That potentially might be okay if some of them weren't there, right? So, I mean, but they don't care. They just ban them all. All the cards are banned. Lucky Clover, Edge, Escape to the Wild. So, they say because of, a lot of powerful cards like Lotus Cobra, right, have helped Escape to the Wilds, things like that. But, I don't know. It just kind of frustrating that they continue to ban cards such on a common basis. It's just commonplace now. So I'm not too happy. I mean, granted, the format's probably again going to be better without Almanac in it. Would I have liked Lucky Clover to stay in the format? Probably, but again, I like the venture decks. So I know they do become very troublesome when you're playing against them. So I can see that also. But then they also ban Escape to the Wilds. It's just a lot of targeting of these specific type of decks, and I mean, I'm sure those decks are going to basically be dead now going into the new format after this banning happens. But we'll see what type of decks emerge. Maybe the meta will get better, but again, I think the key is not just to ban cards every week, but for Wizards of the Coast to start making cards less powerful and actually think about the formats before they drop them in. So here they just basically just print cards, powerful cards, people get all hyped, and then when you're playing them, you ban them. They ban them. So, this also becomes very problem. I mean, like, I know most of us are just playing on Arena these days, but for those that play in-person tournaments or anything like that, if you spend money on these decks and then they ban them, that really sucks. Especially when, some people like foiling up their decks or they like spending a lot of money, but they ban them and you're gone. They're gone, right? Not the best feeling when you finally find that deck that you like, or sometimes, some people don't, they save money and they spend money on a specific type of deck, and that's the deck that they want to play, and it's good. So they're like, okay, let me buy those decks, let me buy these cards, let me make a good deck here, and then that'll be my only deck. Now everyone has tons of cards that they can make. It's okay, that deck's banned, let me just go ahead and make another one, right? Doesn't always happen. Now Arena, yeah, it's a little different, right? Actually, per se buy the cards, but and when they ban them, they give you the wild cards. So it's not a big blow, but still, it's just not a good feeling, for these constant bans to keep happening. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys, think that this ban was needed? Do you guys like this bans? Do you guys think Wizards of the Coast is banning too much? Well, what do you guys think it's the problem here? If there's even a problem, maybe this is just fine. Them just keep banning things, keep printing powerful cards and banning them on a constant basis. But let me know what you guys think. And please comment below what your thoughts are, and like this video if you liked it. And please subscribe to the channel if you want to continue seeing content from us. But again, I do appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.